Acne, weight gain, hair loss, craving, dark armpits, always tired. I didn't know it at the time, but it's all connected. Welcome back to our channel. You're with Kim. So Kenan and I have decided that we are just gonna share this channel for now, and I will just have a little corner for my own videos, and it's gonna be called Kim's Korner. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the story of my weight gain. I already lightly mentioned this in our previous video, the one where Kenan did my makeup. And if you haven't seen that one, there's going to be a link in the description box. You have to go watch it. Kenan did a pretty good job doing my makeup, but don't go yet. You can watch that video after you watch this one. Before we get started, just a quick disclaimer, guys. Obviously, I'm not a doctor or a medical professional. I'm just a singer, guys. And I'm just gonna be sharing my own personal experience. So if you experience any of the symptoms that I'm gonna be sharing in this video, please make sure to seek help and consult your healthcare provider. Also, we're gonna be talking about PCOS or PCOS in this video. And for your reference, here's a quick summary of what it is. PCOS is a very common hormone problem for women of childbearing age. Women with PCOS may not ovulate, have high levels of androgens, and have many small cysts on the ovaries. PCOS can cause missed or irregular menstrual periods, excess hair growth, acne, infertility, and weight gain. And that's just from a quick Google search of what PCOS is. So let's get started. We have to start from the very beginning. The year was 1990. No, I'm just kidding, guys. We're not gonna go back that far, but we are gonna talk just a little bit about my childhood and my teenage years, just for you to have some context. Ever since I could remember, I always felt fat. Like, when I look at myself in the mirror and when I see pictures of myself, I can see and I know that I'm thin, but I still walked around like I was fat. Like, I don't know, does that make sense? Is it just me? It's not just me, right? I'm so mad at myself for spending my skinny years thinking that I was fat. I looked back at those pictures and I was like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? I also always had clear skin until my early 20s. I would get maybe 1 or 2 pimples, and it's usually a huge one like this. It would be just 1 or 2, but that's it. I was also pretty active when I was young. When I was in elementary school, I did gymnastics and ballet for a while. I used to go out a lot and play with my friends outside. In high school, I was part of my school's volleyball team. I wasn't very good, but I was there during all the practices. I was also part of the dance troupe, and I also started singing in church. In college, it was also a different kind of stress. Like, there was always something that needed to be done. And it was also around this time when I started dating Kenan in secret from my parents. So all the sneaking around also added to my extracurricular activities. So I would say I was pretty active and pretty busy growing up. But when I finished college, I decided to become a singer full-time. Just for 2 years, you know. But spoiler alert, 9 years later,
I'm still a singer.
When I became a singer, this is when everything changed. I went from being a super busy, fairly active girl to someone who just had to work for like 3 to 4 hours a day. But to be fair, there were some days where we had to play 2 or 3 gigs in one day, but that's quite rare. Oh my gosh, I remember those days when we had to sing early in the morning, then we had to sing again in the evening, and then another gig at around midnight until 3 a.m. and I would be like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. And my voice would be like, I can't even sing anymore. But basically, my schedule changed. I would be asleep all day and I would be awake all night. I think that also played a huge role in my weight gain, and in my diagnosis as well, because I know some of my friends who are call center agents or who were call center agents who have also experienced the same thing as me. My food intake also significantly increased, especially when I started earning my own money. Kenan and I would eat out a lot. I would say 95% of our dates would be in restaurants. We had a lot of late night eat outs. I miss those days so much. I think we know all the 24-hour restaurants in our city because that's how much we ate late at night. I miss Kusina Uno, Siomai sa Tisa.
Oh my gosh.
I miss Filipino food so much. Anyway, fast forward to 2017. My first acne flare-up occurred. And it was so drastic, guys. It happened in like 3 days. It didn't even come like one by one or maybe like slowly over time. And like I mentioned before, I always had clear skin. So this was really a huge shock for me. It really stressed me out, which probably made it even worse and made me break out even more. But it was the most pimples I've ever had in my whole life. So I immediately went to see a dermatologist, and when she saw me, she was really concerned. The exact term she used was that it was grabe. I don't know what's the English word for it, but if you know, comment down below. So you know it's really bad when even the dermatologist says it's bad. She even injected some of my big pimples. I don't know, maybe she injected something to it, or maybe she drained it or something. I remember the look on her face, and she was like, oh, you know, like she wanted to comfort me or something. My dermatologist is very, very nice. She suspected that it was PCOS because of the pattern of my acne. Like it was along my jawline and the outer part of my face. And that's usually where the hormonal acne is, here in the jawline. It was the very first time that I had ever heard of PCOS or PCOS. But she said that it's very common and that I shouldn't worry too much. She prescribed me with topical creams and recommended that I start taking birth control pills, but a lot of women in my life did not have good experiences with the pill. Also, we were already about to fly to the Maldives for the first time, and so I decided against the pill, but I religiously applied all the creams that she prescribed me with, all the toners, all the creams, moisturizers, whatever it was, every single night without fail. So fast forward to 2018, my acne was still there. It would be gone for a few days, but it would always come back.
Surprise, motherfucker.
They love me so much. Sometimes even worse than before. So when we had the chance to go back to the Philippines, I visited my dermatologist again. She recommended that I get a TBS, which is a vaginal ultrasound, to confirm if I had cysts in my ovaries. So I went and did that. When I got the results, I brought it back to her, and she did confirm that I had cysts in my ovaries. Well, the test confirmed that. She recommended that I see an OB because they will know more and they could explain it to me better, because she's a dermatologist and it's not really her specialty. But she did recommend the birth control pills again, and she reassured me that it was really safe and it was really often used for the treatment of PCOS. So at that point, I was convinced to just take the birth control pills. I didn't have the time to see an OB, but I was just continuing with my topical creams and the pills as well. My acne calmed down, but I was also slowly gaining weight. But I couldn't say that it was really because of the pill, because I was also eating a lot at that time. We were already working in the resort and it was buffet all day for us, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. With the pill though, I didn't experience any period pains. Also, my periods became very regular. Like my cycle would be perfectly 28 days. And I could actually plan months in advance using my tracker. So that was one of the perks of being on the pill. Fast forward to 2019, Kenan and I were able to go back to the Philippines again for our wedding. This time I was really determined to see an OB because we were already talking about our future and having kids one day. So I wanted to make sure that everything was okay down there. My OB visit that year was very very pleasant. I showed her my TVS results from the year before and she wasn't really very worried about that. I told her that I was also on the pill as recommended to me by my dermatologist, and she said that she didn't want me to be on the pill for too long, especially if I wanted to have kids, because I'm not sure if I remember it correctly, but from what I understood, the pill suppresses the ovaries. She said that sometimes the ovaries get used to not having to work, and so some people have difficulty conceiving if they're on the pill for too long. So she said to just be on it for like 2 to 3 years maximum. And while I'm on it, I should be exercising and dieting so that by the time that I get off the pill, my PCOS symptoms would be gone.
Basically.
So she didn't really say that I had PCOS per se, but she also didn't say that I didn't have PCOS. So fast forward to 2020, and 2020. We all know how that went down. COVID happened and the world just shut down. I think that was really the time when I gained so much weight. But there were a lot of factors that went into play, and it wasn't just my PCOS. Number one, our resort had to close down because of
COVID.
Like, we were already sedentary before the pandemic happened, but even more so when we didn't have a job to go to. We had almost no physical activity during that time. Number two, we had to go through so many quarantines that year. We were always confined in the four walls of our villa in the island, or in quarantine hotels, or in our tiny house in the Philippines. So again, physical activity was really non-existent. We tried home workouts, but I was always so tired. I also think that was because of my PCOS. Or maybe we were all just so lazy during that time. What do you guys think? Third reason why I gained a lot of weight in 2020 is that I went off the pill in around June, because that marked the second year that I was on it and my hormones were really out of whack. I even missed a period for the first time in my life. I had a pregnancy scare, but a couple of days later my period came and my period pains came back, and also my periods weren't regular again. My cycle lengths would vary every single month. Also, my cravings became stronger, but that could also be because of number 4. We were home for the longest time in about 3 years. That meant I could eat all the food that I missed while I was still on the island. I literally had a list of all the food that I wanted to eat and I wanted to make, and I was able to eat all of them because we were in the Philippines for 5 months. It was just eating festival every day. I made another visit to my dermatologist because it was during that time when I noticed a lot of skin tags, or like warts, in my neck area here and in my face as well, and my neck was getting dark, my armpits as well. I had a lot of acne that time as well. So I had my skin tags lasered. They didn't grow back after that. I also did a facial, replenished some of my topical treatments, and I even asked my dermatologist if she could fix my dark underarms because I was really bothered by it. Because in my line of work, I had to wear a lot of sleeveless tops, sleeveless dresses. So I asked her if she could fix it. She looked at it and she told me that, you know, sometimes there are other factors that cause the underarms to be dark, and it's not on the surface level of the skin. Basically, what she meant was the darkness came from within. But she was just too nice to say. Like, my doctor is very nice. But she did apply a peeling solution to my underarms. It peeled the entire top layer of my skin for around 7 days, and my underarms were still dark. So she was right. The darkness did come from within. I'm gonna show you guys a picture of my underarms when it was really dark. Like, I can't believe I'm showing you guys this picture because I remember being so embarrassed when I saw this. I didn't even show it to Kenan. I didn't even show it to my sisters with whom I share everything with. I only recently showed this to them and they were so shocked. They couldn't believe that it was really that dark. And by the way, that photo was taken after the peeling solution. So see, it was really within. So fast forward to 2021, we were still in the Maldives. I still ate as usual. We went on diets, but we never stick to them. We tried going to the gym, but that only lasted for like 2 weeks at the most. So we still lived the same sedentary lifestyle, and I gained even more weight and I had even more acne flare-ups. Then we moved to a different company in the middle of the year, and our activity level slightly increased because we were biking to work, but still that wasn't enough to tip the scales because I was eating so much unhealthy food, and at this point I think I was really very heavy already. It was during this time too that I noticed my hair thinning, like I would lose so much hair every day. And it was also during this time that I noticed how frequent I was having UTIs, and that was very weird. Maybe there was even a year where it was like 4 times. I knew something was wrong. My health was starting to decline. Fast forward to 2022, I got COVID and yet another UTI on my birthday. I was prescribed another round of antibiotics, and I remember that time I was really starting to get worried because I didn't want my body to become resistant to these antibiotics. I was really paranoid at that time because I always needed to get another round of antibiotics whenever I got sick because of other reasons, and then there's all this UTIs. And I also felt a discomfort in my lower abdomen and in my lower back. I don't know, some organ in my body just felt uncomfortable. I couldn't tell you what it was. It was probably just me being paranoid, but I really felt something, and it really terrified me. I could really be doing permanent damage to my kidneys or something. I don't know, but I was really scared. So I knew that I had to be healthy. That's really one of the reasons which pushed me to make a serious decision to change my life. March 1st, 2022 was the day that I decided that I was gonna make some lifestyle changes. I was very serious. I was very determined. For the first time in my life, I wasn't gaining any weight. I was actually losing weight. Like, I was a loser, guys, and I was really happy. So in May of that year, Kenan and I went home to the Philippines again after a year and a half of being away. We wanted to celebrate our anniversary because we weren't able to celebrate my birthday because I got
COVID.
But surprise, surprise, I got dengue fever on the day of our anniversary. I can't get a break. And I also had this terrible cough. It was so bad, my friends will tell you. So I consulted with a doctor friend about my dengue, and he ordered some blood tests and a urinalysis. So we already knew it was dengue. He prescribed me antibiotics for my cough and all my other symptoms. But what was more concerning was because of the urinalysis that he ordered, I found out that I actually had a UTI during that time, and I felt no discomfort at all. I didn't have any symptoms, which was more terrifying to me because I could have had it all this time and not have felt it. Who knows what's going on down there? So I was even more worried about my kidneys and about my reproductive health and my reproductive organs, and my head was just spiraling. So I made another visit to the OB, the same one I went to in 2019. This time I had a very terrible experience with her. Like, she wasn't at all as I remembered her. She got older and crankier, and to think only 3 years have passed. I will share with you guys that whole experience in another video. Basically what she said was that I didn't have PCOS. She even did an ultrasound and showed me the screen and said, see, there are no cysts in your ovaries. And I was even more confused.
What is going on?
She wanted me to do some blood tests, and I wasn't able to do it because I had to fly back to the Maldives 2 days later. But I didn't want to go back to her anyway, so I left the Philippines with more questions than answers. I was so confused. Do I or do I not have PCOS? Could it be that I had gotten rid of my cysts because of the lifestyle changes that I made? But it's only been 2 months. And what about all these UTIs? Like, I just wanted to know.
What is wrong with me?
Anyway, I just decided to continue my lifestyle changes because I felt so much better anyways. But you know, because I still wasn't satisfied with my previous visit to my OB. A friend recommended a Maldivian OB. We went to see her in October. I had a very pleasant visit with her. She was much better than my other doctor in the Philippines. She really listened to all my questions and she answered them. She ordered some blood tests similar to the ones that the other doctor ordered. I also did a full abdominal scan, and the doctor who performed the scan said that everything looked great. All my organs were in great shape, even my kidneys. And he was also very nice, like he was showing it to me on the screen. He did find some cysts in my ovaries, but he noted that they were mild. And I was confused because the other doctor said that there were no cysts there, and it was clearer ultrasound because it was like a vaginal ultrasound, not one that's just on your belly. And I asked my OB this, the new one, and she said that if your cysts are mild, sometimes they could come and go. She said that I had polycystic ovaries, but I didn't have polycystic ovarian syndrome. All of my blood test results were okay. Some of my hormones are out of whack, but I am in perfect condition to have a baby anytime I want. So it was generally a good visit. She told me to just keep doing what I've been doing in the last couple of months. She prescribed me with some supplements and some vitamins, and that was it. You know, I'm still not fully convinced that I don't have PCOS. It's not that I want to have PCOS, it's just that everything, all my symptoms point to PCOS. Even my blood test results, the only thing that I don't have is amenorrhea or the absence of periods. But I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, fast forward to today, I'm still acting as if I have PCOS, and that's been working really well for me, you guys. I still have acne flare-ups, but it's not as much as before. My face is significantly less oily. I can't remember the last time I had a craving. As for my hair, it's gonna take a long time to see a difference in that. They're still falling out, but it could also be because of my weight loss, because that's also one side effect of weight loss, is also hair loss. My periods have now become fairly regular, and the period pains are almost gone now. Like some months I don't even feel them. I am still losing a lot of weight, and I have some serious fitness goals this year. We'll see if we can achieve them. But you know, I just feel lighter but stronger and better and just healthier in general. So I'm really happy with the results so far. It's been almost a year now since I made my lifestyle changes, and it's been about 6 months since I started seriously working out. So if you want to know more about how I lost the weight, please make sure you subscribe to this channel because that's going to be my next video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just really wanted to give you guys some context about how I gained the weight in the first place, and you know, share with you my health issues, and maybe that'll give you a sense of where I'm coming from, and maybe what works for me could also work for you. So if you have any questions, just comment them down below, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and like this video, share with your friends if this helped you, and I'll see you guys on my next video.